What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sam Dracula channel. I'm Sam. Today, I have a very special guest, Mr. Rod Boone, a veteran NBA reporter. He runs and writes Hive Vibes newsletter. Rod, how you doing? I appreciate you coming onto the channel.
I'm doing great, Sam. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well. Avoiding the snow as much. I'm glad it's nice and sunny here in Charlotte. So things
Yes.
are pretty all right.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
There's snow everywhere except for Charlotte, it appears. I mean, we're the one state that probably has no snow in the entire country, it appears.
yeah, I'm from the Midwest, so I don't miss the snow. I'm happy with
And
how
I'm from
things
New
are.
York, so I don't miss it right now myself either, believe me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you spending time with me. There's a very busy day in the world of the Hornets right now with the Spurs and contact tracing. Could you give us a quick rundown of what the Hornets are dealing with on the COVID front?
Yeah, absolutely. So today we learned that the Hornets are going to have the next two games postponed. They're supposed to play Wednesday at home against Chicago. They're supposed to play Friday at home against Denver. Those games have been postponed for right now because four Spurs players have tested positive, I believe. So trying to just do a contact tracing right now. The Hornets have to play San Antonio on Sunday. The Hornets have their own issues with a couple of guys who are out. And the Martin twins, Cody and Caleb, also PJ Washington was out the past couple of games because of protocols. So the NBA just wanted to make sure that everybody is good to go. This is a safety precautionary measure, it appears. Today, James Borrego said he doesn't believe any of his players have COVID-19, which obviously is a good thing for them. So at this point, it's more about just being safe and taking precautions, and we'll see what happens. But the Hornets won't be doing anything as a team until at probably the earliest, I think Friday, as of right about now.
Okay, just all virtual training sessions, film sessions, that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing things, again, virtual. I mean,
Mhm.
right now, that's the world we live in. Obviously, right now, we're doing stuff virtually. If you're meeting with your boss, you do stuff virtually, it appears nowadays, so they're no different. They're going to be doing Zoom interviews. They're going to be doing whatever they can to kind of keep it going because, the Hornets were on a stretch here playing some of their, I'm gonna say some of their best basketball, but they were close. They weren't whole in terms of having the entire roster available, but they were still finding ways to win these games.
Yeah.
So, but now with this kind of, I guess, giving them a monkey wrench, so to speak, into their plans, you got to kind of take a step back and just figure out how to continue playing the way they have been without getting together and practicing. So it's not going to be easy at all for them to figure it all out. But right now, they're going to be just doing everything pretty much on the virtual side.
And the time off could be a positive on the injury front. Hopefully, when things get back to normal and Hornets are playing games again, they have the Warriors up next. Having as many bodies healthy as possible for that matchup would be pretty nice. Do you think there's a chance we see, from what you've heard, of Hayward and Devontae being available?
That's a good question. Today, actually, that was asked to James Borrego. He didn't have a real answer because he said at this point, it's hard to kind of speculate because he's not sure if he's going to even play the game on Saturday against Golden State. You hope that's the case, but the NBA says, nah, wait one more day. You have to wait one more day. But you would think that unless it was a really major issue for Gordon Hayward, that essentially would give him almost a week of downtime. So you figure maybe he would be okay. The question mark to me is probably more of Devontae. He came back from his groin injury, which we know is something that's not easy to come back from. You got to make sure you manage it the right way so you don't tweak it and hurt yourself again. But he came out there and jumped and landed awkwardly toward the end of the first half in the game on Sunday, and he had a little bit of a knee injury. So he's probably the more of the questionable one to kind of see how I respond to treatment. But we don't know just as of yet. We probably don't have any real concrete idea, honestly, until probably at earliest Friday. And really, you won't know probably until actual game day whether or not they're both good to go.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm, as a fan, I'm curious to see what this team looks like at full strength. We saw when did Terry go out first, then Devontae? I forgot which order.
Yes. Well, actually, you take a step back. Let's go back to the first game of the year.
Yeah.
It was Cody.
Yeah.
Someone who got hurt. He was out for basically about a month or so, with his finger injury. And then he comes back. They start to kind of find things. We're trying to ask about the rotations and who's going to play, who's not going to play. And then all of a sudden, you're right, Terry gets hurt. He's out for 2 games. He comes back, Devontae gets hurt.
Yeah.
He comes back, then Gordon gets hurt, then Devontae gets hurt. So right now, if you're a Hornets fan, it's been a little bit probably annoying in that regard because, again, you want to see how this team is going to be at full strength. As soon as you get a little bit of a glimpse, somebody gets hurt. So we got to just wait and see how they're going to just fare injury-wise. But at least if you're a Hornets fan, you see your guard depth has been tested for the most part the first part of the year. They have done pretty well. So now it's more about, can your big man step up to the challenge and do things inside the way you want to see them step it up?
Yep, definitely. There needs to be some stepping up there for sure. I'm just curious, like, what's your gut telling you about what the rotation looks like when the team is fully healthy again? Like, what do you think we see hitting the five, and who do you see coming off the bench?
That's the good question, man. That's the question everybody's trying to kind of figure out, because really you have, three guards when you're talking about Terry, Devontae, and LaMelo, who all at this point are worthy of starting. The one worry that I have is if you start LaMelo and play him all these minutes, he's going to wear it down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people are realizing that. He played just 13 games, whatever it was last year, as a pro in Australia. It's like, that doesn't go away. Like, remember, PJ Washington played at Kentucky, and he had a rookie wall right before the All-Star break. He told me last year when I talked to him about it. So to me, while I understand fans want to see LaMelo start for development purposes, if you start him from here on out, he's going to really wear it down. At some point, the production is going to take a dip. He won't be the same player you're seeing right now. So if you really want to be honest about everything, right now, at this particular moment, he's okay starting. Like, if you want to say, I'm going to start LaMelo, Terry, Gordon, PJ, and Cody, I'd be okay with that right now. But again, a month from now, is that okay? I'm not really sure about that. So if you want to eliminate that part of it and go long-term, it's probably best if you start with the lineup that you had pretty much the beginning of the year, which is Devontae, Terry, Gordon, PJ, and Cody Zeller. That way, if you notice, LaMelo and Miles, that connection, if you want to call it Airbnb, as they want to call it, it's been good off the bench. When they separated, start lineup and off the bench, different individuals, they don't fare as well to me so far. You may see a game here or there, but those two work well off the bench. So to me, if you're asking rotation-wise, while Devontae, he even told me last year, before he got the start lineup last year, he wanted to be a Lou Williams type of guy. Come in, 6-man, instant offense, just let it fly. But he's starting. And one thing that people also have to remember is this is a contract year for Devontae Graham. So he's a team player, right? He'll never come out and say it. But for him to maximize his worth, he has to start. Okay? So don't forget about that part of it. So to me, it just makes more sense if you're trying to get to organizational built the way you want to long term, is to just go with Devontae, Terry, Gordon, PJ, Cody. Start with those guys. If you have to make a tweak here or there, at some point you can do it. But I would start with there, kind of go at that point, and figure out what you want to do on the bench.
Yeah, and then you can kind of play the game as is. Take those opportunities where they are, play the hot hand, you can make the adjustments as the game goes on. But I like his bringing up, like, LaMelo's 19. He doesn't have an NBA body yet. It's going to take time for him to develop that. Like, you see him stand next to Ben Simmons, it's like, okay, these people are different. It takes some time to get that NBA body right. So let's keep it on LaMelo for a second, if you don't mind. What do you think? Like, he's come in, third overall pick, all the attention in the world on him coming into the league. Now that he's here, it's really on the court and off the court, really, I think, raised the profile of the franchise.
Absolutely, man. I mean, as we've seen, it's only been one game so far, but they got a national TV game when it was, LaMelo versus his brother Alonzo.
Yeah.
So when you factor in that part of it, that alone just helps out the Hornets because it's exposure. All right. LaMelo has over 1 million Instagram fans, whatever it is, followers, I should say. Same on Twitter. He has millions of followers. So
Yeah.
the Hornets alone just benefit off those people who follow him, and the brand. So when you get LaMelo merchandise into the store,
Yeah.
it's off the shelves before you can even probably put it up there. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, it's a good thing for not only the Hornets, but for the city, because I don't think people realize how much people enjoy basketball in this city, especially pro basketball. The Hornets just haven't given them a reason to kind of just be happy and cheerful over the last couple of decades. Because if you forget about the first rendition of the organization before we left to go to New Orleans, and you have the Larry Johnsons, the Muggsy Bogues, and Del Currys, and those guys, like those guys were beloved by the city. And when they left, of course, fans got a little bit ticked off about it. Since they come back as first the Bobcats and now as the Hornets, they haven't won very much. So I think LaMelo is giving this city some juice they haven't had in a long time. And if the Hornets just build around him the right way, they're going to be a team that people want to see and watch for years to come. So I think it's really a good thing overall for the franchise. Now it's more about just developing him, because you mentioned before, he's 19 years old. Okay. He didn't play college basketball at all. Okay. Mm-hmm. He has to get bigger. We know that. He has to get in the film room and just get his basketball IQ to a level of a pro. But the intangibles you can see, man, they're all there. Yeah. People didn't think he could shoot very well. He's shooting 3-pointers, as you can see, at a ridiculous rate. He can get to the basket. His passing is incredulous. It's funny because I remember I was asked on a radio interview like a month or so ago about LaMelo and who can I compare him to, and I was like, man, I don't want to say just yet, but he reminds me a little bit of Magic Johnson. And when I said that, you know how it is, you don't want to compare people. I said, man, I probably went a little bit over the top. But I said it because I feel like his passing ability, his height, his court vision remind me of Magic Johnson. But when you see Magic Johnson himself tweet a couple of days ago, just that LaMelo's excited, so the Hornets, then let you know that the Hornets actually are a team people want to see. So it's exciting, man. If you're a Hornets fan, if you're somebody who's been waiting for a long time to cheer for somebody and a person that you can hope that will be around for years to come, then hey, LaMelo is the guy, because he's invigorated the franchise, the fan base, and just the city overall right now.
No, it's amazing. I love hearing about the Hornets from people that have never talked about the Hornets before. And I don't know if it's like I don't know how to divide up the split of like the reason why they're winning. That's gonna help. But LaMelo is super exciting as well, and that combination I think is really paying off.
Absolutely.
For the Hornets. Speaking of LaMelo and just all the players in general, with COVID, you've had to personally cover the team differently than in the past in your career. So how's that been communicating with players via Zoom?
Right, it is. Yeah, it is over Zoom. Yeah, it's to me, it's just different because anybody who's been in this business for a long period of time knows that the bread and butter of being able to be a reporter is your interaction with your subject you're talking to face to face. Obviously, we do stuff over the phone. That's part of what we do as reporters too, is calling up people, doing stuff on the phone to talk to them about story ideas, subjects, concepts, information, whatever it may be. And you kind of miss that one-on-one in-person interaction. So for me personally, it's difficult because I feel like the one-on-one interaction, being at the games, in the arena with the fans, the vibe, like I haven't been able to do those things just yet the way you normally do. And I feel like while the coverage is still there, it's not the same that it's normally be, because the interaction with Devontae Graham or Miles Bridges or Terry Rozier or Gordon Hayward, whoever it may be, is not there. So the same interaction that I'm getting with that person is the same interaction that everybody on the Zoom call is getting. So it becomes more of like, I would say a group interview whereas the individual interviews are pretty much not available as much anymore unless you request them because everybody kind of has to get in where you fit in. So it's been interesting, I guess the way to put it. I know like everybody else, I'm hopeful that when this pandemic eases down and fans are back in the arenas and we're back in the arenas en masse as media, we'll be able to kind of give the fans that specialized coverage that they actually really enjoy, because while it's okay to be able to give them interviews that we all, do, it doesn't have that same kind of gusto and emphasis that I'm sure some fans look to when they have their favorite writer here or there in their styles. So I look forward to getting back to that day, hopefully soon. But right now, it's definitely different interviewing players as the way I'm used to.
I've never followed LaMelo Ball until he came to the Hornets. I never really heard him speak until he got here. I noticed in his interviews, he's really short, to the point. And I don't have a beef with that whatsoever. I kind of like it. There's no room for misinterpretation with what he's saying. There's no, like, if he hears a question he doesn't like, he seems to handle it really well. I remember specifically asking about the condo he was living in. And he could have flipped his lid if he wanted to, but he didn't. He's like, I just want to keep that private. Just kept it moving. Like, I think the way he carries himself, you could tell he's been in the public eye for a long time, and he knows how to carry himself in situations that he may not feel comfortable in if that happens. That's refreshing to see.
Right, he definitely does. His answers are short. They've gotten a little bit longer the last couple of weeks as he got more comfortable, not only talking to media, but he's starting now. So he's feeling a little bit better, I'm sure, out there on the floor. Coaches are telling him how well he's playing and working with him. So while, yes, it's definitely a good thing for him. If you're LaMelo, you want to keep it up, because the one thing as when you become the face of a franchise, not saying he's there yet, that's his goal, to be there. When you're the guy, like you're doing interviews on the radio, you're doing stuff on TV, you have to be able to make sure that you elaborate and you explain to people like why you think the way you do about a certain subject, topic, whatever it may be. And he's just 19 years old. So while in the media, we want to extract answers from a subject to get him to essentially just give us a book if they can, he's not doing that just yet because he's still learning. But he's gotten a lot better over the last, I would say 2-3 weeks, where he's more elaborate. He's more sure of himself. He's giving stories. Like he's mentioned unsolicited how he played well when he had the career high 3-point game.
Yeah.
He didn't have a shoot around. He got to the arena late. And so we were like, oh, maybe we should do that every game. Like, no, I don't think so. But it's just kind of funny that he just kind of gave it up and said, you know what, man, you guys don't know this, but I was having COVID issues with my testing. I couldn't come to the arena. I wasn't sure what was happening. And I got here and he played well. So those are the kind of things as a writer, when you cover a team every day, that you actually look forward to and enjoy, because those are nuggets that, again, maybe we would get if we were there covering them every day like normal, but via Zoom, it's not that easy. So for him to be able to tell us that was really appreciable. And it also showed to me just how much he's opening up and how much he's maturing, not only in media, but just making sure he's more comfortable as just a person here in this town, knowing that he's going to probably be here for a few years, if not longer than that.
Yeah, I hope it's a long time. Knock on wood, at least, especially at this rate. Rod, I appreciate you coming on. I have one more question for you about just the state of the roster, any potential moves. Trade deadline's coming up at the end of the season. You mentioned earlier it's Devontae's. It's a contract year for Devontae Graham, along with Malik Monk. Decision to be made with that. Zeller and Biz all have expiring deals. What's your take on or gut feeling on any potential roster moves, either before the deadline or maybe in the offseason?
That's a good question. I think they're going to make a move. I haven't talked to enough people just yet because we still have a little bit of time to go if the deadline gets here. But I think they would make a move if it's the right move, meaning like, let's say they want to improve their front court somehow, right? Like, you don't make a move just to make a move, but if you feel the person that you targeted can help you not only this year, but beyond, and maybe somebody better you can get in free agency next year, then that's probably something that they would look to do. Doesn't mean that person is out there. Doesn't mean that they can find the right package to strike a deal with the opposition. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I think if the right deal is there for them, and they're right where they are right now, right around 8th or so in the playoff hunt, and you feel that you can make a move to kind of boost you up a little bit more, I think they'll do that. But this team, for sure, remember they had cap space, which they haven't had for a while for back-to-back years. So it definitely will be a player, I believe, if not trade deadline time this offseason, in terms of maybe being a third team to help take on salary somewhere. But the Hornets, to me, aren't done just yet. I definitely think they'll make some more moves to improve the roster, to build around LaMelo and maximize Gordon Hayward's time while he's still in his prime.
Yeah, that's encouraging because you saw the Hornets made a move, right? They committed a lot of money to Gordon Hayward. That tells me they're in it to make the playoffs, or at least try to make the playoffs, which I love to hear as a fan. So the fact that they're not happy, or not, it's not happy, won't be like content, I guess, with their position and looking to push further. That's the fuel we need as fans to carry us the rest of the way.
Absolutely.
But Rod, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for coming onto the channel. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. Anytime, Sam. Appreciate it having me on.